Hello, hello, Awesome Soul, back again with another bot review. This time we are doing another hovercraft, but this is more of an art bot than a traditional bot. And this bot is, if you couldn't tell by what exactly this thing looks like, or if you're unfamiliar with the Pokemon series, this is Vikavolt, one of the latest and greatest Pokemon from the 7th generation. It is the electric stag beetle Pokemon. It's a sort of a railgun inspired bot, which is interesting because this thing doesn't have any railguns on it, or a railgun inspired Pokemon. But yeah, I would kind of like to see railguns on this thing. It would be kind of cool. Fits the theme a bit better. But the other thing that fits the theme quite well is the fact that this thing is incredibly slow. Now, that is good, like I said, if you actually do want to fit the whole Vikavolt theme. It's not a very fast Pokemon. But if you're actually wanting to fly around in Robocraft and get some kills, I would highly recommend adding more hover blades. At least add some, like, small ones. Like, you know, the very smallest ones. Pack them in as much as you can. Certainly not a bad idea. I think this has some of the larger ones near the back. And then up at the front, it's got some of the smaller ones. Oh, can we survive? Can we? Oh boy. So yeah, it looks like it is packing a lot of the larger ones. That's good. Oh boy. Oh boy. Oh boy. We're not in a good spot here, are we? Poor old Vikavolt's not having a good time. Okay, I think I'm good. I'm gonna survive. I'm good. I'm good. Unless I get hit from behind. Okay, beautiful. We're good. And I healed. Nice. Okay. So the next thing is the fact that the mandibles, while they look cool, they could do with some lightening up. If there are any spots where you could make, like basically the full cubes aren't visible, I would highly recommend making them non-full cubes. So the inners, or whatever the curved ones are called, I can't quite remember. Definitely recommend doing that. And the other thing I noticed as well, they do tend to pop off fairly easily. That's mainly because they are really only held together on the bot by 3 arrow rods. Can we get our... Yes, we got our revenge. Lovely. Yeah, they're only held on by 3 arrow rods. 2 of which actually feed into the same general area, more or less. And one is a 5-long rod, which goes more into the heart of the bot. Right there, you can actually see it now. So, I guess the next thing that needs to be talked about is the weapon layout. Like I said, rails would be cool for the bot, but not mandatory. That was just a random thing I decided to throw it at the beginning, because it is, at least in my opinion, a railgun-inspired bot. Some people seem to think it's a fighter jet, but it's certainly not fast enough to be a fighter jet, that's for certain. But the weapons. As I'm sure you've seen throughout this entire video, we have not drained our power bar in the slightest. Now, at first glance, you might think, oh, you know, that's actually a pretty good thing. You're never gonna run out of power. But the firepower that you're dishing out with these weapons, these are the mid-tier lasers, aren't really that much. If you have this large of a power pool, because this thing is only 1,101 CPU, remembering off the top of my head, I think that's it. You have quite a lot of power to work with, and, well, you're not utilizing it at all. So, please, please, please add some of the bigger lasers, or what you could do is maybe add some plasma as well, for basically a nice, I guess, Alpha Strike punch type thing. This thing certainly could do with that. So, it seems like we are actually doing fairly well. a lot of them are aircraft, and this thing has kind of been having a slight trouble with aircraft, mainly because, as I said in the last video, I believe, the main weapon you're going to want to pack as an aircraft is plasma, because it is more or less an anti-ground weapon. It's also a nice alpha strike weapon if you are a ground unit, but the best way to use it, at least in my opinion, is if you are an aircraft, and I'm sure most people would share that sentiment as well. So, the fact that this thing has so few hovers is not really very good when it comes to defending against plasma. You're pretty much guaranteed to be hit by even the smallest plasma, which I believe this thing is packing. Yeah, that thing has the smallest plasma. Not very good. A little sad that we're being destroyed by that thing. So I will back off for now, and hopefully... Oh, never mind. He's gone. We're good. We're fine. Vikavolt will fly again. So yeah, I guess in certain regards you have theming down, and in other regards you don't have theming down. So this thing's ability is levitate, but more or less it's grinding along the ground the whole time. It's incredibly slow, but that's what a Vikavolt is meant to be. Its speed stat is actually quite low, but its special attack stat is incredibly high. It is one of the highest special attack stats of any Pokemon. And it's not really, well, shown off by its rather weak armament of weapons. And again, it's got the large power pool, so why not use it? So, since this is an art bot, I figured that I would actually show it off in the garage a little bit better. I do this with most bots, but this is an art bot, so I gotta show off the looks. First off, the face, very good. Definitely captures the actual thing, and the mandibles as well are a definite perk of this bot, or well, whatever you really want to call it. They look nice, that's what I'm trying to get at. You've got the, I guess, part of the shell that normally covers the wings when they are actually in the bot, the proper wings, which do usually have a slight gap here, but in some of the other artwork it's shown where it's more or less one wing, which isn't exactly the case, but it just kind of looks like that. Anyways, it's a rather pointless topic. So we got the somewhat exposed hovers, the helium, which I did notice earlier, but it's doing a somewhat decent job of keeping the mandibles upright. Although, lightening them, like I said earlier, would probably be your best bet. If you could somehow find a way to lighten the load, that would be definitely recommended. Because even though you do have the center of mass here, there's also the center of hover, which is something else you have to consider. So you've got all your hover blades in the back here, but your bot continues all the way at the front. So, if you could somehow actually get a small hover blade in here instead of maybe the helium, might be a bit better. Because I remember going off some ramps in practice mode, and it does actually nose up, which I thought was kind of odd. And then I saw the helium. And last thing, I figured I would critique the Artbot section of it. It looks really, really nice. The only thing, though, is, at least the way I see Vikavolt, it is packing a dark black or dark gray. Well, there really is only one dark black, and that would be regular black. But yes, it's either black or dark gray, so I'd recommend painting this black instead of gray to fit the theme better. And the legs are actually black with white toes, or pincers, whatever you want to call it. But it doesn't really matter too much, because overall, the bot looks really, really good. Just needs a few of the pointers I pointed out in this video to make it a more viable, functional bot. So with that, guys, I of course have been the Awesome Soul. If you are interested in checking this bot out, the name of the bot, as well as the name of the creator, are in the description down below, as always. I, of course, have been the Awesome Soul. I thank you so very much for watching, and I will see you next time. Take care.